Call the meeting to order, 6 PM. First item on the agenda is election of officers. We need a secretary. So open the floor for nominations.
I'll nominate Clayton.
We have a nomination for Clayton. Is there a second?
Second that.
And a second? Are there any other nominations? Then I need a motion to cease nominations.
I'll motion.
We have a motion to cease
I'll second
and a motion to second. All those in favor say aye.
it.
Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion carried. Then we have the vote, right?
Yep.
Went really fast. All right, for the position of Secretary of Treasurer of the Park Board, we have Clayton. I don't know how to pronounce your last name.
It's Duder.
Duder, thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. I guess there's no.
That's it.
Congratulations. Citizens input does not look like we have anyone or any delegations, so I guess with that, get the agenda approved. The rest of the agenda, I guess.
I'll motion.
We have a motion to approve the agenda. A second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion carried. The next item is minutes.
I'll motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion carried. Financial reports.
Campground revenue expense.
I had a question here about the credit card fees. It seems they went up, but I didn't notice the revenue. Oh, never mind. I think I was reading the wrong column. I was looking at current budget versus prior year. I had the column mixed up, sorry. So I think it was for Cadwell, there was a concrete fee. What was that finishing up? Is that for the press box, or is that?
Yeah.
That would have to have been for the press box for the footings.
Okay. I assume so.
kind of crazy, we're still paying bills for outdoor aquatic center, or approving bills for that one.
Angel, did you see anything I did for us?
I didn't see
I didn't think
anything.
I did either, I was just making sure.
Yeah, I was just double checking that
Sometimes
too.
I miss them.
Yeah, I didn't see anything, this one.
There's no further questions. Entertain a motion to approve the bills or financial reports, however you want
I'll make a motion to approve the financial reports.
to. Your second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the financial reports. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carried. Department reports.
I'll start off. So as far as programs go, we finished up our last outdoor program with our men's flag football end of October. Started a few other programs with our fall winter tennis. Winter tennis basically starting in November. We run that through about the middle of December out at 4-H building. We started our co-ed volleyball league last Sunday. We ended up with, I think it was 16 teams, which is the most we've had in a long time. So good to see that go up a little bit. We've got a couple of swimming lessons going on right now. We've got a level 2, and then we're taking registration for a level 3 class that'll start at the end of November. And then we'll do a lot of our younger ones more into February and March and April timeframe. And then we're still taking registration for our youth wrestling program that'll start December 18th. And Brandon Billhauer, along with the high school wrestlers, help with that program still. So that's one of those co-sponsored programs. So I think we've got close to 60 signed up for that already. So that one is looking good. As far as the rec center goes, we've got our new adult fitness area open now. That's going really well. It's I think for the most part, it's going to be kind of what it is. There's a few adjustments we'll make here and there. But for the most part, I think it's flowing really well. People really like it, the open space. So we're excited about it, and it's opened up the old fitness room for our youth, for preschool and the after-school program. And then come first of the year, we'll use that more for birthday parties as well for the pool once we get our climbing wall and some other things in there. So that'll kind of top it off. And then come the first of the year, we're going to be, if you've been in there to see it, the hallway by the new room is painted a gray color that we picked out, and then it's got new tile in there. And then within the first 3 weeks of January, we'll be painting the rest of the walls in the lobbies and the hallways and tiling the rest of the tile there to match all that too. So yeah. Other than that, we're doing good. I mean, memberships are still hanging in there good. Our check-ins for members are up over 3,000 from last year at this time. So I think that's pretty good considering the first 3 months the pool wasn't open. So I think we're doing okay with. I know we're busy after school and in the mornings and stuff. We have a little downtime from that noon to, or 1 to 2 time, and that's about it. So.
To me, about a possible upgrade as far as the walls, about weight bar level.
Oh, the one corner where we have, when you first walk in the room and to the right, we've got some, our couple pieces of equipment there and some freestanding bars and things that people can use, and we've got a mat there. We've already, it's sheetrock walls, so weights and sheetrock walls don't always mix very well, so we've got a couple dings in there already.
No holes.
We're no holes yet, but we're looking at putting some like diamond plate surface, just in the corner there. It'd be about a couple of 4x8 sheets of that we're looking at getting, and just putting that in about 4 feet high, just in that corner, not around the whole thing, but just in that corner, because that's, the machines aren't going to move to hit. It's just where these individual bars and things are at that can fall out of people's hands and things like that, so. Any other questions? All right.
Thank you.
Okay, we finished up winterizing all the restrooms, shelters, irrigation systems. We did our fall spraying, the parks and areas around the lake. We've been hauling some dirt out to the public beach and day camp to fill in some of the low spots and make it easier to mow. We had to clear out and remove some trees out of them access lots before they went on the city auction. Want to thank James Valley Nursery for the donation of the 10 trees. 6 of them went out here on 7th Street by City Hall, and then 4 trees got planted at Northridge, and they planted them also. Been mulching leaves, cleaning up around the shop, putting equipment away, getting ready for winter. We moved the handicap docks and fishing docks in the bays for the winter time. Took out all the buoys and other boat docks that we take out every year. Just removed the flowers from the flower beds at Hitchcock and Patton Young. And then, guys, we got the Christmas decorations up this week too. Any questions?
Including the tree across the.
Yep, and the tree.
courtyard.
Thanks, Steve.
Over at Cadwell, we got, had to go, all the irrigation and the bathrooms are blown out. Got all the spraying done. Took a little bit to get the sunshades down, and we finally got the lift and found some decently calm days. We got those down, put away. The batting cage and the batter's eye are down for the season. All of our outside programs are done. Like Kevin said, the flag football was the last. We did one more round of mowing earlier this week, and still might be. We'll be mulching some leaves tomorrow, but we'll check the weather next week. It's going to get a little colder, but we've been keeping up pretty good on that. With the press box, they got all the steel up. They have started painting. I think they're painting by hand, just with brushes. I saw 4 or 5 of them up there, but that'll be that Cadwell green. Next is to just enclose the main part of the press box after it gets painted, and patch up the blacktop where they put the footings. And they're going to try to get that enclosed for winter so they can do some work in over the winter. Out at soccer, DW finished up on the 2nd. I think it was the 1st and 2nd. They played on both men's and women's, made the GPAC tournament, but they lost their first conference game. And I think it was on a Wednesday and a Thursday last week. Or the week before. Irrigation's blown out. We got the bathrooms blown out and the Fisher building also. Nets off the goals and all the spraying's done out there. Got some cleanup to do in the back Fisher building. We're out there today. Excuse me. Had a water heater from somewhere got picked up off a Purple Wave, and someone's going to pick up those 2 bleachers. He didn't know they were that size, and he's coming from Nebraska and didn't know he had to load them by himself. He was just thinking of bringing up a car trailer and having someone load them for him, but he's going to rethink that idea and come up with what he's going to do. And I told him they could stay in there a little longer till, or a big trailer, but you definitely need a skid loader to get them out of there, and lots of straps for me hauling them to Nebraska. So he's going to kind of rethink that. I told him he could go a little longer after his pickup date, because if he doesn't take them, we got to get rid of them. So I'd rather have them take them somewhere. The ice arena had our first preseason games on November 4th. This weekend is a girls' 15U tournament. They have think it's 12 games. First league games are the 24th, that'll be next weekend. Next weekend's pretty busy. I think we got 2 Friday, 7 Saturday, and 6 on Sunday. I've been dry shaving and edging and cleaning, going around checking all the gates and the doors and closers. Started open skate on October 30th. It's been fairly busy for open skate. We did switch and only do bumper cars on the weekends. I believe it's only been 30th. Yeah, so 2 weekends, Saturday and Sundays, and we've had 4 bumper car rides and 2 people got bumper car ride and did open skate and a skate rental. So that's still kind of slow, but I have a bumper car rental in January with the Commerce. I talked to a lady again that was interested in it, but then didn't like the price, so usually that picks up around Christmas time, so I'm hoping after Thanksgiving, the rentals for bumper cars pick up. Great Plains Roofing came and they did some work on the roof. They put it's like some all-in-one kind of roll-on that's got a primer and a finish on it. They said with the stuff that was put on before, it's starting to crack and get weathered, but this will not do that. They put it above and below the 8-foot sheets that they put on and patched a bunch of areas where they saw little rips, little cuts. You can kind of see it if you're driving north on Minnesota. You can kind of see the east end of it, a bunch of like white tape up there. They said it should be good. I don't believe that that's going to be good, but we haven't had weather yet. We've had a little bit of rain-ish here or there, but nothing to make it leak, so we're still kind of waiting on that. They said definitely let them know if anything happens. We cleared out all the buckets, should be emptied, and where they have been leaking and haven't seen, well, we haven't had any moisture, but we're ready for moisture, so if it does leak, then we can get back hold of them and,
Hopefully we get moisture when they're above freezing first.
yeah.
Did I hear correctly that you had some leaks over the ice last time it rained?
Yes, there is one that I found out about. It was not there yesterday or today, but apparently it was there on Saturday and Monday.
Around the vapor barrier.
It's off of a beam. I don't know if it's actually coming off the vapor barrier. I don't know where it would be coming. I never remember it leaking from there or dripping from there again or before. We have the dehumidifier on. There's no moisture on the glass. So I don't really, as of now, I'm just keeping an eye on it. It wasn't there today, but Friday, I know we resurfaced at 8:30, 8:45, and it was there in the morning for figure skating. So keeping an eye on that, but yes, that is something over the ice that it makes these things, I think they're called stalagmites, where it just mounds up. And you can go, if they're not too big, you can chip them off with your skate, or the Olympia just shaves them off, but if you don't notice them, it's a definite trip hazard. So just keeping an eye on that and see, I don't know where that's coming from. There's water up there above that vapor barrier from this summer. Sometimes it comes out, it might move from this spot to this spot. We get new leaks when it hasn't been raining. But I haven't noticed any new leaks besides that one since they did the roof part, so.
So what's the plan? I mean, at what point are we going to look for an alternative solution? I mean, this rough leak's been going on.
I don't know what the plan is. I'm getting a quote from Alice to redo the whole north rink roof, to redo the whole vapor barriers on both sides. But I don't know,
That's ultimately next step in my mind.
I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you redo both roofs completely, or when it is actually leaking, you go and tear everything out from the inside and find where it's coming in. Because no one really knows where it's coming in either.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we have a little bit of money left over from 3 years ago when we did that first project. But, I mean, where do you stop just saying, all right, let's try this, and that didn't work, let's try this, try this. But we probably got 90,000 left from there.
Well, it seems like it's been going on
It's been going on
the whole
since,
time, ever since it was built.
ever
At some
since it was
point, we gotta
built.
just
Yes.
start looking for a better solution, I guess. That'd be the direction I'd like to push towards. I don't
Me
know.
too. New roofs for both rinks.
That's what I'm, yeah. So I'm starting to wonder.
It's gotta be something that's in the budget ahead of time.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't be, it's not next year,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I understand.
that could be put in for 2025.
We on the meet?
Yes, sir.
Lake lots, as I noted in here, they sold, as most people knew already, those 7 lots that were posted. It was interesting to be at that auction and hear how quickly things moved along. People opening their checkbooks. 2024 rates is something we'll be looking at yet tonight. We bantered over a lot of stuff on making sure that the documents that you're seeing tonight are going to be correct. Cleanup work, we're on the lake. Steve alluded to the fact that they were out there filling in some areas that were low, and John McLeod's group, Lake Mission volunteers, have volunteered to pay for about 8 to 10 loads of black dirt, something we would not have been able to add, and then we'll be seeding that as well, hopefully this fall, some frost seeding in. They did finish up with all of their trimming today. I don't know if you did or not, Steve. They were out there with that man lift with their individual rented machine. They went out and finished by the amphitheater. So they added the piles that are still there. Engineering discussions for the jetty construction. As I noted in here, since that was so long ago, there's been a couple of little changes to that. We won't likely have as many dock sections that will go in to start with, and the shelter that's out there, I discussed with Steve's staff what that shelter should look like versus what the prototype had been on paper, and we came up with a more practical solution. Something that'll save a little bit on money, and it'll be easier to maintain and keep people off of it in terms of the roof. When you put brick pillars up next to it that are only about 5 or 6 feet high, and the roof is another 2 or 3 feet above that, it's an attractive distance in my mind, so it won't have that approach to it. Ends installation, that was something that somebody volunteered back in June, I believe, to be a part of bringing that in for their mother and mother-in-law who had passed recently, and that's now installed. And you see it in your crew. Capital Stadium, as Jeremy had mentioned, that's structures up. They're working on painting. I'm surprised to hear they're painting it by hand, but given the wind, I wouldn't think that would work very well to go up there and try spraying that framework above all the bleachers. Had some inquiries regarding outdoor rinks over at one of our parks in Monroe. There used to be one there a long time ago, is my understanding. And my understanding again was that once the second sheet was built, even prior to that time, the rink had moved from Monroe to in front of the arena. And then once the second rink was built within the arena, that second sheet went away, and there was a gentleman's agreement between the park board and the hockey association that rink would cease to exist at that time. However, it was noted by that individual that should the hockey association, of course, want to have that the lease would need to be renegotiated again in terms of who's going to cover that cost. But at this point, the Parks Department isn't really interested in maintaining another rink again. Questions on what I'm presenting tonight?
I guess the only thing I'd like to add is I have had non-hockey people ask about outdoor rinks. I don't know that they're that interested in, I mean, they're just people, I think, where they go and wanting to have open ice that they can just go on.
I can understand that, because if you think about how often is there open ice, but right now we have it on Wednesday and Saturday, is when there would be sheets available. You've got open skates getting more often than that. there's full nights available on Wednesdays and Saturdays. How many nights we do at open skate?
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays 2 to 4, Wednesdays 6 to 8:30. Wednesdays, one sheet is usually open, and Saturday afternoons, or after 4 o'clock, one sheet is usually open for rentals. Other than that, it's pretty much booked up.
I know from a historical standpoint, anyway, I've talked to Kevin about this. I mean, when I first moved here, we did do the outdoor rinks and things like that, but then
They staff the warming house.
we staffed the warming house and everything, and the park guys would flood, but one of the main reasons, not only just because of the hockey arena being built, but one of the other main reasons was they couldn't, the temps were getting, I'm not going to talk about global warming, but the temps were getting too hot to where they'd flood for 3 or 4 nights, because it has to be 28 degrees, and then they'd get it up, and a week later it would be 40, and you have no ice again, and you got to keep making it, and so it just became, I mean, the guys were putting in overtime like crazy, and just couldn't keep it cold.
Last year we worked well, but
Yes.
previous years, obviously I know a lot of people that have tried it and that kind of stuff. And you can, it's just the amount of time you're actually going to use it is pretty minimal. It's just, we don't have those kinds of temperatures. They did have one in front of the hockey rink for a couple of years, I remember. When that was after the second rink was built, was it not? Was that was before that?
Yeah, that was before. It was right when the second rink,
Was it?
the sheet came up, that's when they stopped doing that.
I just remember it happening, I didn't remember the time, I guess.
And that was, I didn't do any of the Monroe stuff, but that was, I would come in at night and we had a big silage tarp underneath, but it was hard to get it flat enough when you ended up putting those boards on it. So all the creases, you're making 4 or 5 inches of ice to get over the 2, 3 inches creases of the tarp. I'd come in at night, overnight, and flood, and you could make a lot of ice. But the next day, might be 18, 20 degrees, but the sun's shining and your ice is melting.
And you had a white silage strip underneath.
We flipped it back. We tried it black the other time, 'cause it was white and black, and either way, it was the same. I think it was a lot of the sun going off of those boards that were white, but it was below freezing, but it would be sunny out, and that ice, there'd be water on top of it.
So white, in theory, would be better underneath, because it's not going to absorb the heat, but on
Oh,
the
yeah.
inside, it's reflecting all the bright light toward it.
Yep.
I can tell you the experience of doing this in another town, that our guys would spend about a month trying to put the water down. They go out every night. Only their union contract there required that we give them 5 days' notice in advance of going out and needing to do the work overnight. So they'd come in late night or early morning, put down the water, 1,000 gallons a night. And day after day, week after week, and not a whole lot of productivity out of it at the end. You get maybe 3 to 4 weeks of ice use at the end of it. It seemed like a waste, but people liked it. One was using it.
Because the city, if we were gonna go that route, you'd have to go all out, like Rapid did, or Sioux Falls is doing, or whatever. where you-
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Does Rapid have cooling? Yeah, it'll be, you know, there'll be 45 degrees, and you can skate on that ice.
And they'd never have ice out there if they didn't have that.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's quite a population, but they do.
So I like that.
Next item is the approval of placement of a retired flag drop box at Veterans Park.
So I don't have a map to describe it, but would be, I discussed this with you, right, Steve? To a certain extent, so it's not right in the park. It's to the west of the park, on the edge of the parking lot, but right next to Vets Park. So there's evidently a little space there that still considered to be city property is what the request was to put it out there. So again, not in the park, but out at the edge of it down the parking lot side. And there's currently one out at the cemetery, which is getting great use. And I don't have the exact figure of what Dean had said in terms of how many flags they got, but I believe it was between 100 and 200 retired flags that already been deposited in that flag box. So to have another place as appropriate as putting it next to Veterans Park would make sense. Again, it's not a request to put it in the park, but next to the park.
Is this like a mail drop box?
Similar.
I don't know if the cemetery, it's not like big and gaudy or anything.
Yeah, that's good.
Is that something we need to approve?
Yep.
So we need a motion to approve, and
I'll motion.
we have a motion to approve the, we have a motion and a second to approve the placement of retired flag drop box at Veterans Park. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries. 2024 proposed park and recreation duties.
So this would entail field rental, use fees, as far as user fees, player fees, and rec center. It would not include trees, campground, and anything that might be related to speed at this time. We'll touch base on some of those next month as they relate to the tree service. I have noted in my notes that I would like not to touch base on campground fees this year or next possibly, unless we find that we're undercutting the area of campgrounds. And this will be due to the work that's going to be going on out there in terms of Highway 37. We've already, almost say torn apart, but disturbed the entrance to that and moved the sign there based upon Highway 37, the work that's going to be done. It'll be about just north of the campground going north next year, and from that point going south toward town the following year. We should find out next month whether or not we're getting the funding from FEMA to put in that new emergency shelter out there, which would be a / comfort station, which is the restrooms and laundry. I think after that time, after that gets installed, would be an appropriate time to think about changing those fees. Is there any comments you guys would like to make from line to line as we go down?
I guess my first comment would be, why don't we increase every fee a little amount every year? Why do we just pick and choose? It seems like some of these fees, we wait 3 or 4 years in between raising them, and
Any thoughts, Angel, on what the history's been?
It's basically just based on. It's just basically based on what the facility operators know that their customers will tolerate.
I know for the rec center rates, we haven't raised them for a few years just because of the construction that's been going on, COVID and stuff. But so this year we raised them for rec center fees anyway, about 5%. So it's not a huge increase, but with our new room being open and things like that, I think that was a good time to do that. I personally don't like to raise rates every single year. We've usually done them every other year or some, depending on the circumstances of what's going on, maybe every a couple of years. We don't try and do it every 5 years, because I get what you're saying there, but like program fees, I kept those the same. We raised those kind of significantly a little bit last year in a lot of them, or for 23. So we're keeping our program fees the same, but the rec center fees, we did increase by about 5%. So.
Will you touch base on why the recreation and athletics look different in terms of a $10 versus a?
Yeah, so what that is, those are the co-sponsored programs that we do with the high school teams and the college teams, Dakota Wesleyan and MTC that we've done with them. And we had them, basically it's the same. It's just That $10 fee is what we always get. We take $10 per kid for those fees, and the group that's actually helping us run them get, if it's a $50 program, they get 40. We just kind of moved them into different areas, so now we have a specific line item for expenses that we take those fees out of to pay those other groups, and we keep all the revenue, but then pay. It kind of evens itself out. It just makes it look a little bit
We just need to
cleaner.
recognize all the revenue that
Yeah.
comes in.
Yep.
So the cost to the consumer is not much different than it was.
No,
Correct.
nope, exact same.
But you guys don't write the checks for the helping? How does that work?
For those co-sponsored programs, we basically write it as a bill and send it to City Hall, and then City Hall pays that. Comes out of our budget.
To the organization.
To the organization, yeah.
Not to each person as a coach.
Yep, yep. There's still some programs where we have staff that are paid on our payroll, but a lot of these programs, we're going to the co-sponsored thing, and we give that money to the organization, like Mitchell Youth Wrestling, Dakota Wesleyan Volleyball, or whatever it might be.
There are a couple that moved it up just a bit, and one of those being the caregiver pass for the aquatic center. Had been 30, now it's 48, including tax, which means it's probably 45. So that's more of a bump, but that is somebody who is coming in, and it goes toward our bather or bath or limit, of people through the gate.
They're like a supervisor or a babysitter for someone that has a membership.
These we did not highlight, there's only a couple changes that are in here that I'm seeing off the top of my head here. One being the agreement per hour for an association. And then I think your group rate went down. I see your group here, it's $2 versus $3, and down here as well. And then concession stand rent. And these are bumped $1 each. The top per day field rent is slightly higher. I guess slightly, that's 10% though. And these are $1 again. Down here's a $20 bump.
Did you get that, you're talking about out-of-town teams having a tournament? Did you hear about the fees for that to make it worthwhile, so they lose money on it?
I didn't get into that. I kind of thought the trade-off between that and all of a sudden, like the example that was Plankington got rained out, and all of a sudden we have 15, 20 teams in town for 8 or 9 hours. I kind of traded that off as maybe gas, maybe food, helping with our concessions. So hopefully the city's getting some where they didn't get, and that would help out with us. Kind of offset that.
So basically, Mitchell, if I'm reading this right, Mitchell Baseball is paying half of what the out-of-town teams do, is that what we're reading? it says half price. Is that half price?
No, that's no chalk.
Oh, I have the co-ed softball team doesn't do chalk. All we do is drag and rake. So for that, we do half price of whatever the diamond per day is. And then with the ice arena, what line is that? Open skate group rate, I suggested going from $3 to $2 just to match because the adults goes from $5 to $4. And the skate rental group rate, that has always been at $2. It just was, this is the first time I've seen it on the sheet where it was $3 in 2023. That has been at $2.
Is group by a size, is there like rules?
Yep, 10 people.
They need to notify you in advance or just walk in?
No, they can just come in. I tell my open skate people,
So if kids all line up outside, they can get it cheaper?
yes. That is technically a
If
group
they think
rate.
that far ahead.
Yeah.
Save an extra buck for concessions. We used to have that at the rec center I was at, where there was a discount for the noon basketball, and they'd come through and say, I'm with him. If you're a guest of somebody else. We did away with that. Any other questions specifically on the rates? We'd be looking for entertaining a motion to approve the rates if there's not any more questions.
I'll make a motion to approve the rates for 2024.
We have a motion to approve the rates, is there a second? A motion and a second to approve the 2024 proposed park and recreation forestry freeze. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion carried. I have the next meeting is December 14th.
I don't know if you planned it that way, Steve, but you go on for vacation. You're not the first one.
All right. Well, not hearing any objections, we'll set it to December 14th at 6 PM. Meeting's adjourned.